Okay, I think I just started recording. Yeah, we didn't miss a lot. So let's create a file, new file. You know how to create a HTML file by now. Let's call it my first JavaScript program.html and save it in a folder. By the way, this is the naming convention we use. I don't know if it's this is the naming convention we use in most of the programming languages, right? We call it camel case, lower camel case. So you start off, when you start off, your first word is just a normal word. Your second word starts off with a capital and so on, right? So the way when you name variables in your JavaScript code, I'd expect you guys to follow this as well. It's good practice to have, but just don't name your variables A, B, C, D, E, F, and whatever. So name it something descriptive and make it like a proper camel case thing. Okay. So yeah, our basic structure. What is it? Doc type HTML, head, body, right? This is the basic framework. Inside head, we usually have a title. Let's call this my first JavaScript program. So yeah, this is your first program. In reality, though, you guys already did HTML and CSS. Yeah, so now let's move further. So in your body section of the code is where your JavaScript code will go, right? The same way we did CSS. So CSS, we would link it, or we would do it using style in the head part of your page, in the metadata part of your page. You would do something like style, and you would mention all of your styling attribute stuff, or you would link your CSS file in the head. The same way our JavaScript code would go in the body, part of your code. And the same way to style for this, it's script. The equivalent is script, and JavaScript stuff will be written inside the script tags. And I'll explain what this is, but let's first see. Let's first do it. Script variable. Okay, var stands for variable, and everything that you would have as an input in your pseudocode or your flowchart would be a variable. And we'll see why you need a variable and all that. Code equal to what's the number again? Oops. Oh, yeah. 82751950. Okay. As you can see, JavaScript is smart. It already shows there's a problem, but we'll see what the issue is. For now, just type the code as it is, including commas. Okay, it said something, total price, okay. Again, you can notice that the variables are using camel case. Right, so this is the code that we're compiling first. And again, JavaScript is smart. Visual Studio Code is smart. It shows that there are 2 errors here. You can look at it right here, and I'll show you how to check the errors through this and the web page. But for now, let's save it and open and see what happens, right? What do you expect to happen? Because I told you there's an error. Okay, but some things will still work, right? Your title that you put up that said my first JavaScript program is still there, right? There's nothing else. The page is blank, but your title still works. And why does nothing appear? That's the question that matters, right? It's not that it's not working, but why? We're calculating. So VAR stands for variable. Again, as I mentioned, all of your JavaScript code goes within the script tags in your body section. And VAR stands for variable. And you're defining a variable named Ford, and you're giving it 8,275. You're defining a variable named GM, and you're calling it whatever. You're giving it the value 9,535. This is how you would give your input case, for example. So inputs that you had in your pseudocode, in your assignment 6, 5, what was it? Whatever, your assignment 5. So your input cases would look like this. These are the inputs that are being given, and you're calculating total price is 4 plus GM. But what's the issue here? There are a lot of issues here, right? So if you're defining a variable name and a variable called 4 in GM, shouldn't total price be a variable as well? Total price, shouldn't this be a variable as well? Isn't that an error? So you do something. Before that, I mean, it's bothering me. I don't want to put it out, but you'd always want to use meta capsid here, right? You'd want your encoding to be right. You'd want all of your characters to show up as intended. So this should again be a default. But then again, we're adding a VAR in front of total price, and we're calling total price a variable as well, which is the right thing to do, right? Because without defining a variable, without JavaScript does not know what total price is. You just can't give it a name and expect to understand, right? You have to define it. You have to define every single variable that you're creating as using the VAR symbol. And there are multiple other issues, and let's see what they are. Let's compile this and see if it works. What do you expect to happen? It won't work because we're not doing anything. We're just doing calculations. We're not outputting anything, right? And how do you output stuff? Okay, I'll go through that stuff. I haven't gone through that stuff, but yeah, run the code in the browser. The title appears. I showed you this. Error note, there's no total price that was just calculated. This is because JS was never told to display the result on the screen, right? We're just calculating stuff. As long as, so you can have a sheet of paper, you can calculate stuff as long as you put it in your Canvas, whatever, submission. I don't know, you've done it, right? You're not displaying it. You're not displaying your output. So how do you display output here? That's what it says. Alert the variable name. This is syntax. Alert is an inbuilt function. You do alert. Here we're alerting total price. There are multiple ways of outputting it. I'll show you other ways as well. But alert is it gives you a pop-up window, and you just click on, you just give your input through that, and it should work. So now we're outputting it as well. So it should show up in our web page, right? You'd expect it to show, right? But it will not. Yeah. It's because there are still errors in our code. And again, you can easily see based on the red lines, errors are here. And you can see here as well, it shows 2. So there are 2 errors. It makes sense that it's these 2. And you can click on these as well, right here. The bottom part, everybody look up. The bottom part right here, it shows errors too. If you click on it, it'll tell you variable declaration expected, line 9, 26. So 26 characters. You can count characters, but it's, I mean, you know where the error is. Line 10, sorry? Right here, the bottom left corner, right? So this is JavaScript, but if you want to do it in your browser, again, I've shown you guys how to do this in browser for HTML as well. It was in one of the recorded recitations, I think. Do you guys remember how to do it? Any of you? It's in settings, I'll tell you that much. Here, more tools. Yeah, you're there. I mean, it's not really inspect. Developers tools, and in console, I don't know if it's visible. Which browser are you on? Safari? No, I'd never use Safari, so yeah, personally, it's yeah, but it shows you that there is an error here at line 9, right? So it always shows the first error, uncaught, syntax error, unexpected number. Okay, now I've built it up enough, so I'll get straight to the point. You don't give in commas in your variables. When you're giving it a number, when you're giving any sort of coding a number, you don't put in commas. Commas don't make sense, right? When a coding language tries to read through a number, a comma is read as a character. It's something that it's like a word to it. It's not. It confuses between words and numbers, right? Computers are not that intelligent, so if you give it a normal number, it should work. And as you can see, the 2 here is gone. There's no problem here. And as you will see, if I save it and reload it here, it won't show up there either. It shows the output. This is the output. Something that looks like a notification, but it's just added the 2 numbers and giving me the output. So click on OK. Our program works as intended. Yeah. we went through this. Oh, I did this stuff. Okay, now now that we've seen our first program, let's move on. 1B, program 1B. If the total cost of the two cars, we have Ford, and I didn't explain what the variables are. I'm sorry. One car is from Ford, one car is from General Motors, and the sum that we just added up was the sum of those two cars. And the total cost of the two cars is greater than $30,000, then the car dealer will give them a discount of $1,000. So logically, how would you, before looking at the code, how would you think about it in terms of flowcharts and pseudocode, right? This would be a decision case, right? It would be a diamond, right? It would just be if total price, in your diamond, you would ask the question, is total price greater than 30,000? You'd have yes, you'd have no. For the yes case, it would be discount equal to $1,000. For the no case, it would be nothing, right? That's exactly what we're doing here. And we're subtracting that from total price as well. Before that, let's get into it. I want to show you another thing, but it's not in the list of things to cover, and I don't know if I'll run overboard, but remind me, okay, later on, if we have time at the end, I want to show you another cool thing with JavaScript, but I don't think I will have time, but remind me in case we have time and I forget, remind me. So let's change this. We have another variable. Oh, before that, let's just I'll show you without doing the variable. So the question was, if, again, read the question, don't look at the code, just read the question. I'm hiding it here. I should be hiding it here. Just read the question. If the total is greater than 30,000, the car dealer gives them $1,000 in discount, right? So if this is how you create an if condition here, the same way we write it in pseudocode. You'd have if brackets open, bracket close, total price greater than. Would you do commas here or no? Yeah, you shouldn't. It won't understand. It won't understand that it's a number. And the exact same way you would do for a styling variable, you'd open up the brackets and you would say discount equal to, what was it, 1,000? Yeah. And you can't put in dollar symbols here as well. It's not going to understand. It's not a smart thing here. Again, it's one of the stuff that I want to cover apart from the planned out content, but I'll go through it if I have the time. You should not put in dollar signs. I don't know, whatever currency you want, you can't add that into the front of it. It's not going to understand. Your code is not going to understand. So you sell discount and you have to change your total price, right? Your total price should be total price minus discount, right? That's what makes sense. And another important thing that I forgot to mention, everything should be finished off with semicolons. Just the same way your CSS stuff, you finished off with semicolons, right? When you finish off, I don't know, a type of property, you would use a semicolon to finish off. And otherwise, JavaScript will throw you errors and it will not know the line is done. So now it makes sense, right? We're declaring a variable. I mean, we're giving discount is $1,000. If the total price is greater than 30,000, we're reducing the total price by the discount. If there is a discount, and we're okay. There's another way of doing alert as well. I'll show you that. What did I put in here? The total price is okay. The total price is. I'll show you what this means. So this is what we call a string in programming, in not just JavaScript, in any sort of programming language. We call this thing a string. A string is a collection of characters, right? T alone, H alone, E alone will be a character. And this entire thing is a string because it's a set of characters, right, put together, including a space. Space is also a character, by the way. And we always give characters within double quotes, or it can be single quotes as well. It's most of the languages are not sensitive to double and single quotes, but ideally for a string, you would want to use double quotes. And I'm just saying, give the alert as total price is, put a dollar sign because my total price variable doesn't have a dollar sign. It's just subtracting numbers. It's just a number. So total price is in dollars. It'll give me the total price, right? This is how you input it. And the plus sign here basically concatenates. Do you guys understand the word concatenate? It's kind of, it just appends this number here. Basically, it just I don't know, increases the length, and it puts in the number here. Concatenation is just when you add stuff to a string. Add stuff in the sense, not really addition adding, but it's just, you just put stuff at the end, right? So say I have download and this S, if I concatenate download with S, it becomes downloads. You just put it at the end. That's what concatenation is. Good spot. I was going to get to that. Don't ruin it. The code should not work. Good spot. Really good spot. Appreciate it. The code will not work because we haven't defined discount as a variable, right? Any variable you use should be defined. So when we say var whatever, you're defining the variable. So what would you do? Would you do variable discount? Is what you would do? Equals what? You guys are checking the slides, aren't you? I thought you guys were actually, I think you guys were actually understanding. Okay, no. So again, so as a beginner, you would make this mistake, right? I'm trying to think as a beginner. Follow along. How would you think if you did not look at the slides? Don't follow the slides for today, please. Just close the slides. You would, but you would not set any number, right? Because you're trying to assign discount right here, and you give discount only when there is a discount, right? Otherwise, it shouldn't be given anything. And a basic error a beginner would make would just say, create. I'm defining the discount variable. I'm just saying var discount. And if I do this, again, it'll throw me an error. The program will work as intended. It's not an issue with my program not working. My program will work, but I'll get $nan. I mean, I didn't mean to say nan, nan. So nan is just, if it's an infinity or anything like that, it will throw, your program will throw nan, right? Because it's not a valid number because you don't have discount set to 0. So in our default case here, our discount is 0. If your total price is less than 30,000, your discount should be 0, right? So whenever you're adding stuff, so the same way if say you're recursively adding things, you would set your total price to 0. If we didn't do this calculation here, when I create variable total price, I would set the number 0 as its value. If there is some sort of number that you're initializing, you're creating a variable, just set it to 0 by default. That's mostly the right thing to do. And now it will work properly. It gives me the sum again, but there's no discount because our value is not over 30,000, right? So let's change the values. Let's call this 18K something and 19K something. So what is it? 37,800, something around 37,810, I think. Yeah. 37,810 it should be something along those. So with the discount, it should be 36 something, right? Let's reload. Yeah. 36,810. So now we're just outputting it in this window. We're just doing alert. Alert just puts out a pop-up. So you don't have content here in your body, right? You don't have content here. It's just in your script. So you're just outputting that. But now, isn't this smart? Now your program is capable of understanding your inputs and is giving you output based on your input. This is what your assignment 5 does as well. So this is the fun part of programming. The stuff that you've done all along, HTML and CSS, it's just the aesthetics. It's not really smart. This is when your computer can understand the input that you give, and it gives you an output based on that. Yep, sure. Yeah, feel free to interrupt me if you want me to wait or go slower, because this lecture is very important. It's important that you guys understand this. Are you done? Do you need more time? Okay. Yeah, so we just saw how to give discounts based on your total price. Oh, we're almost done. Nice. Okay, so the second program. Okay, an electronics store has a promotion offering a discount of 12% for its UHD TV sets. A customer is interested in a TV set whose price is 2,000. The store is located in New Jersey, so a 7% sales tax will apply to the discounted price. The sweet old Jersey tax. calculate the final price to be paid by the customer. The program should display the final price. How do you do this? Think about it. I hope you all have your slide decks closed. Just don't copy stuff. We want to learn, right? It's not, it defeats the purpose. So close your slide deck if you have it open, and think about this. You have an electronics store that has a promotion offering 12%. So in most programming, let me just finish this. In a lot of programming cases, this looks a little bit more complicated, right? It's not as straightforward. So you would want to write stuff down. So when I started off programming, I did the exact same thing. I would just the exact same, the stuff you guys just were making fun of. I would just scribble stuff like that in a sheet of paper. And that's how you get to your actual answer, right? You break stuff down. So funnily enough, I think I have it open. Yeah, does any of this make sense? I just made this yesterday. So most of software engineering is you breaking down a complex problem into subsets, right? So it might look complex to you, but it's much more simpler than a complicated problem. I've just broken this down into multiple sets. I'm creating an app for a food delivery system. I'm breaking it down into multiple aspects, and that's how you would do when you program. So I don't know, take something else, take a sheet of paper, scribble, create a flow chart. Not on the thing again. You don't have to do it on draw.io. You can just take a sheet of paper, a rough flow chart, a rough pseudocode for you to begin with, right? When you're starting to program, you need something like that. I can take a question now. Good. That's the math behind it. How do you write it as code? It's really good. You're proving that you're an RBS student, but you want to be a CS. How do you write the conditions? How do you write the define variables? Okay, so let's move on to that, right? So let's look at the strategy here. Create variables, assign values to them. Again, remember you have to assign values to variables based on the data: TV price, discount, tax, discounted price, and final price. You have 5 variables here. Write the variables down first. So first you have your TV price, which should be ideally an input from the user. We look at how to do that as well. But here is 2000 is given to us. So just do TV price equal to 2000. Discount, it's 12%, right? So 12 by 100 will do, or whatever, 88% of your TV price, the way you spoke about it. And tax with 7%, yeah. So you add 7% to the 88% value of it, and the discounted price is your TV price minus discount. Your final price is your discounted price times the tax, right? Calculate the discounted price, calculate the final price using discounted price, and yeah. Use the web console when unable to produce a result on the screen. I want you guys to try this. Try coding. I think we have time. Yeah. I want you guys to actually try it. Give it a shot.
You create a new file.
You can work. Ideally, yes. I mean, let's again. Yeah. When you're starting to program, you want a new file. My second JavaScript program .html. Okay. Doc type HTML. HTML head meta char set UTF-8. You have your body. Inside body, you have script. And this is where your JavaScript code goes, right? So you have TV price. You have discount. Yeah, so discount is 12%. How would you define percent in terms of coding language? I mean, I just did it, but you know what I mean, right? 12% is, I mean, you can also do 0.12. You can do, it's pretty much the same, right? In terms of when you say something is a percentage, you want your you can't give the person symbol here and expect it to understand. It's not In HTML, you would have done table width equal to 50% or 100% or something like that, but here you can't expect to understand. So a discount, we have tax, we have discounted price. Okay. Tax 0.07, right? 7% is 0.07, 7 by 100 basically. We have discounted price, equal to 0. You have final price. Let's do equal to 0 as well, but you don't need it for final price. So what you would do here is discounted price equal to TV price minus, what would the formula be? What would it be? You guys are business school students, come on. I'm going to remove this. I have a TV price, I have a discount percentage. How would you calculate the discounted price of the TV? Yeah, in terms of the variables, I don't want you to calculate mathematical calculations again. In terms of the computer science variable, that's this 12% of my TV price. Is that the discount? Discounted price. I want the discounted price. You're wrong. It's discount is not 0.88. Discount is 12%. It's not 88%. Think about it. Think about it. It's easy. Yeah. Okay, I want someone else to try next time. Good one. Appreciate it. I want someone else to try. Okay. You've been the only active one in the class. So total TV price minus discount into TV price. Another way of writing this is just TV price, the whole bracket open, 1 minus discount, right? You get it? It's basically your way of doing it, 0.8. So this is the same as doing these two are the exact same things, right? They basically mean the exact same. There are two different ways of doing it. And remember, you just cannot, like math, you just cannot give it a bracket and expect it to understand. You have to put in the star symbol for it to understand that it's a multiplication. Yeah, so let's have this for now. Let's not complicate things. And your final price is your discounted price. Okay, someone else. What is your final price? What is the formula for your final price? If none of you answer, I'm gonna have to pick one of you out, which I don't want to do. Really, I don't want to be that dude, but exactly. Good one. So discount price plus, sorry, I did discount price plus discounted price into tax, right? And how do you display stuff? What is the function to display things in JavaScript, like we just did? Yeah. What is it? It's your same thing as doing discounted price of 1 plus tax, right? You get it? I didn't want to complicate it. I wrote it this way because it won't be complicated, but if it's messing with your heads, then I might as well write it the other way. Final price. Or to make it even better, we can give this, right? The way we did it last time. The final price of the TV is dollar symbol. Yep. File save. What do you expect to happen now? Oh, I haven't opened that file yet. It shows up the final TV price. Isn't it cool? I mean, it's I get it. It's still not cool yet. It's a nerdy thing to say it's cool, but it will become cool if you take inputs from the user, right? Now we're just giving it numbers. We're saying the TV price is $2,000 or whatever, but it would be cool if you could just input a number and it does this calculation by itself, right? So now you get what I mean when I say JavaScript is more intelligent than HTML and CSS. It can do calculation for you. It can actually help you out with stuff apart from just making the web page look cool, right? So, yep, sure. It's important to add semicolons, and when you're doing when you're doing this, you just cannot write this like this. It's very important that you understand that you just cannot do discount. I know in terms of math, this is right, but you'll need the multiplication sign for it to understand, right? So let me show you. Okay. It gives us the same output, but if I take the thing off, it'll throw an error. It won't work. It's not going to work, right? Because we don't have the multiplication sign. Okay, this next one, I'm actually not going to do it. You guys are going to do it for once. Yeah. It is, but please don't look at the code. If I can hide it, I don't know. It's something. Don't look at the code for now. Okay. The program is turning the previous program with hard-coded data into an interactive one by using the prompt function. So again, what I just said before, we're not taking inputs yet, right? We're not giving, as in we're just saying the TV price is 2000. What if I want to change it every single time? I don't want to hard code it. This hard coded, right? Do you get what I mean when I say hard coded? You're giving in the value 2000 in your code. You don't want that. You want to take it from a user. I want to be able to give as a user using your web page or your application, I want to be able to give in the value, and it should calculate the value based on the value that I input from my keyboard. Yep. Yeah. Oh, you did programming in 10th grade? That's pretty cool. So I'll show you an example. This is one of the things that I did. I know it looks complicated, but forget that. So do you see it says enter the, I don't know if you can see, it says enter the number of coordinates. You want something like this. Say, for example, I say 2. It takes an input. It asks me for the x coordinate, right? Think of an xy plane. I give, say, 1, the y coordinate now. I'm giving it a 1 again. It should ask me for a second coordinate, right? Because I gave 2 coordinates. So I'm giving 2, 2. And it gives me the output here. But regardless of that, you see that that's how inputs and outputs work. It's cool, right? You can give the option for the user to give in an input and compute stuff based on that. And the way you do that in JavaScript is by using prompt. I think we're good on time. So yeah, the way you do it in JavaScript is by using the prompt function. The same way we did alert, right? Alert is what throws. So alert is what outputs it. It's what opens that window. The same way you can do prompt. So the way you do it is just define all the variables. Again, when you're defining multiple variables here, you can do it using commas. You can just do variable TV, discount tax, whatever. And you can do TV price. I'll show you why this number of thing is happening. Prompt is basically to get the input. Enter TV price. I know it looks complicated, but okay. Let me show you what I mean. So take all these values off. Now that you're taking an input from the user, you don't need values, right? So I'll just do TV price, discount, all the variables that we declared before, but without any price, without any values. You can define multiple variables this way, or it's the same as doing, you could also do this in multiple lines. There are 2 ways of doing it. But ideally, when you're declaring multiple things, just do that and not this, because it's a longer way of doing it. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop me, right? You can do it this way as well, but since that's shorter code and better readability, we'll keep it that way and we'll remove this. Now, to get in the input, you'd want to get your TV price as an input. We'll do TV price equal to. So what you'd ideally do to get an input is just prompt. Prompt of, this is what is displayed in your thing. Enter the TV price. This is what is displayed in the box that you just saw, the same one, the coordinate thing. And it just reads in whatever it's getting here as its input. And that's what we're doing here. But when it reads something like this, when you're given an input, it's going to think it's a string, right? Because you're giving it a string. And okay, I'll show you what I mean. Enter TV price. What else do we need? Discount as well, right? Discount prompt. Oh, again, good catch. Getting better at this. Prompt. Enter discount in decimal. I'll say that. Because if I input 12%, my code is not going to understand, right? If I input the percentage symbol, my code is not going to understand. So I say enter discount decimals and tax. Prompt. Enter tax in decimal. Okay, so now we're taking all the inputs and we're calculating the same stuff based on the inputs. But if you check it with this code, we have number in front of everything. We just, again, I'll first do that and then I'll show you what happens if we do it without. I do number of. So basically when you input it, it's not going to be a number, right? When it reads, when JavaScript reads it, when it reads from, when it reads from a prompt, by default, it assumes it's a string. And again, by now you should be knowing what a string is. A string is something like this, a set of characters. And if you input the number, I don't know, 2000 as your TV price, it's going to think it's a set of characters. It's not going to treat it as a number. But you want to treat it as a number, right? And that's why you give the number function in front of it, which basically converts any sort of, even if it's a text, it converts it into a number. That's the purpose of using this number thing. So let's file save. Go to our web page, reload. Now it's going to ask me for my input. Now is when it gets fun, right? Now I can give 2000 if I want to check, but I can give any other input I want. Discount in decimal, I'm giving 0.12. Enter tax in decimal, 0.07, the exact same output that we got before. You can do this, or you can give in any input you want. You can use it like a calculator now, right? Instead of calculating, I don't know, if you're looking at a lot of TVs, there are different price range, $2,000, $500, $3,000. I'll put in 3K here. I'll put in my decimal for discount. It's going to calculate it for me. It's going to do all the calculations for me. Now, this is what it's fun about programming. It's you can make it, you can actually use it for your things. Try playing around with multiple different inputs. If you want to code it, feel free. But that's it for the plan stuff. Now, the thing that I said I'll go into if I have extra time, I'll go into it now. We have 10 minutes and yep. That's again out of scope for now, but you can. It's just instead of you'd give something like point. I'll give you a brief example. You can read about it if you want, but not a lot of people are going to understand this. You do this. So it's basically you're saying it's give me only two decimals. F is saying it's decimals, and give me just two decimals after the point, right? It's a little complicated. You won't get into it for now. Let's not confuse people. As it is, I think not a lot of people. Do you guys understand it? Was it good? It was. It's good. Yeah. See, then you're into programming. I'll cover that. So yeah. So what happens if I remove this number off? I told you read it as a string, right? Okay. Before this, let's go back to this, and let's give with the commas, right? Let's do with the commas and this double quotes. Let's see what happens. I mean, why just commas? Include the dollar sign as well. But enclose it with the quotes. As I mentioned before, quotes is, again, this is not a part of your planned recitation content we're done for the recitation, but there's something cool with the programming language that I wanted to show you. We're putting in double quotes. It basically is a set of characters now, right? It becomes a string. What happens when you add two strings? Let's comment this out. Again, the way you do comments in JavaScript is your backslash and 2 backslashes just makes it a comment and it changes the color. So let's remove all this. Right, let's just do total price 4 plus GM. Let's remove this as well. Let's just say the total price is whatever. What do you think will happen now? What do you expect to happen? Remember, it's not a number. These two are strings now. When I say strings instead of characters, it treats these characters. And what happens here? So this is also a character, right? This is a string, right? I told you that this is a string, right? And we're adding a string. We added it to a number before. What happened then? What? No, that's not the point. Try to understand. So when we were displaying it before, what did it do? Okay, wait. I'll put this as I'll show you again what I mean. Forget the discount part, but try to understand what this is doing. This is our first code, right? This is our first JavaScript code. We did file save. So we saw what this outputted. It gave us the addition, but it says the total price is in front of, this is our actual variable, right? This is only our variable. Our total price variable is this. The total price is colon, the dollar symbol all comes from where? It comes from here, right? But you're adding that to your number. And what does adding a character to a number do? What does it do? It's concatenating it, right? It's just adding it to the end of the text, but it's not doing any sort of addition. So what happens if I add 2 characters? That's my question. What do you think will happen now? These are strings, right? It's just like, so anything that's the same color is the same type. This is a string. You saw it in the output bar. You see it here in the output bar. It's a set of characters. This is a string. This is a string as well. It's not a number because I'm giving it in double quotes. I'm putting in a comma. I'm putting in a dollar sign and all of those. I'll show you what I mean. When I reload it, what does it show me? But do you see what it's doing? Wait. So the total price is, wait, I'll remove this as well to make it simpler. It's confusing you even more, but now you should get the point. If I reload this, what is it doing? I'm just displaying total price. This is my variable. You see it? What is it doing? It's just concatenating the 2 strings, right? It's just, when it's adding 2 strings, it's just putting the 2 strings together like this. It's not, it doesn't add, it doesn't do addition. It doesn't know it's addition. So how would you, this is what when I said, when I meant, if you don't put the number off here, if you don't put the number off, it's going to read it as a string. And it's not going to do addition in itself. It's just going to concatenate characters. Okay, another fun thing. What do you think will happen if I do this instead? What do you think happens now? This is how you learn anything in programming. This is how you learn. Try different things. Try see if it works. It gives you an NaN. Shouldn't say NaN. Why? We have dollar signs and stuff. Let's remove the dollar signs. Let's remove the commas, right? Now what would it give? What do you think it would give? It's just a plain number. If I did number of this, what would it do? It does. Do you get it? So you can have it as a string. This is the exact same as you doing number of prompt that we did here, right? Oops. How do I get away? Yep. That's exactly what we're doing here. So when you input it, it inputs it as a string. Your prompt inputs it as a string. You're converting, when you put number off, you're just converting that to a number and you're adding it. Okay, another fun thing. I'm not putting number off now, but it is a number, right? These two are actual numbers. It doesn't have dollar signs. It doesn't have commas. I'm removing the number off. What do you think happens now? File save. what is it doing? It's still concatenating it, right? But another interesting thing, let's say, no, the greens are all comments. When I do this, it's all comments. I'll remove it. I mean, if it's confusing you, it's all comments. The same way you comment in HTML, right? HTML comments don't do anything. So I have one number and one text, one string. What happens now? Someone guess. Why? It doesn't. Good one though. I mean, good attempt. That's all we want. So remember, when you're using numbers, try to when you want something to remain a number and not a string, right? When you're adding something, when you're subtracting stuff, always explicitly mention number of, right? It's good practice. If not, your code is not going to work as intended. And yeah, when you want to display, if I want to add, if I want to make my display neat and stuff in my here, I would just do add. It's again a concatenation sign. I would do the total price is or whatever. It's just concatenating the thing to the front, and that's what concatenating with strings does. Okay, 459. We're done with the recitation. I'll first finish the recording. I don't want this to get recorded. Stop share. Stop recording.